All right, second grade. Today is the last day that we're going to be working on our paintings. Last week we worked on adding our black silhouettes. We added our cypress tree, we added our Victorian house, and then any other details that we wanted to add. So today we need to work on adding those smaller details inside our house, and then any other details that I want to add inside some of my black spaces, and even other details that I might have missed. So the first place that I'm going to work is my house. And when we were talking about Victorian houses earlier in class, we noticed that they have a front door, they have lots of windows, and then we noticed all those little teeny tiny details like shingling and gingerbread, all those little decorative details that they have. So what I want to start off with is first my biggest shapes and then work my way down to the smaller shapes. And what I see here is that last week I added the roof of my house. So now I need to kind of take that shape and I'm going to follow it and figure out how far back does my porch go? Does it reach all the way to the back of this house, the main part of the house to the tower? I think I kind of like that idea. So I'm going to start here. Here's the top of my porch roof. And I'm going to create a line that goes all the way back and it creates the porch to my house. So I can't just start putting doors and windows wherever I want. First thing I need to do is figure out where do my details sort of connect to the shape that I started with last week. Now I have this nice long porch roof. I'll end it over here. And then I also have the bottom of my porch. So here's the bottom of my porch that I painted last week. So I'm going to take that line and I'm also going to add that in. And then I also had a porch railing. So I'm going to take that line and I'm going to add that in. That way people won't be falling off my porch while they're enjoying the view of this little landscape that I've created. And I'll add those little railings in between the little spindles. And then this is a very long porch roof. I have one post up here to help hold it up, but I could definitely use some more help holding this up. And I can color little spots in if I want to. I think I'll put at least two more, one kind of in the middle, and then one more towards the back. Now I've got my porch set up, so this tells me this is the first floor of my house. This is the second floor of my house. And then if I look up here, this is the roof line up here. So I can also add that detail here that says, okay, this here, this is where the roof ends. And then same thing over here. This is where that tower starts. So I can add that line back in. And if you want to outline around the edges, you can, but you don't have to. I kind of like it just because I'm adding those lines on the inside as well. And then I'll outline the edge of the roof here. And one thing that we noticed in looking at the Victorian houses is that underneath the roof there's lots of little details, lots of little gingerbread. So like in the corners, I could add some little fancy details. These houses were all built with hand-built parts. So they have lots of unique little details that we don't see quite as much in houses that are made today when they're mass-produced by factories. And then with my windows, Victorian houses have lots of windows to let the light in. So I have two windows here that I put, and my windows don't always have to be the same shape either. We looked at some of the Victorian houses. Sometimes they have square windows, and then there's a big circle window. Sometimes they're smaller windows, sometimes they're bigger. So to make it really more Victorian, I'm going to put a big circle window over here. And then down here on my porch, I think I'm going to put my front door kind of right here in between these posts. So I'll draw my front door over here. And then I'm going to even add a little detail up at the top of it. And then this looks like a good place. Might be a nice big window over here, so people would be able to see out into the porch. And then, of course, I need some windows over here on my tower. So I think I'm going to kind of divide my tower up. And I'm going to put some smaller windows up here at the top that go all the way around. So I can only see part of that one, only see part of that one. And then I'll divide that up. And then maybe there's medium-sized window here. And then another medium-sized window here. Now, when I'm working today, what I want to do is start with my biggest details and then work my way down to my small details. So even if it took me a while to get this planned out, at least I would have my biggest details done. If I were to start off adding very teeny tiny shingles onto my roof and just doing a very neat job with these shingles, this might take a while. So instead of starting with these really small, little, teeny tiny, fine details, I want to start with my big details first and then work my way down to small details. And that way, even if I don't get all of my small details finished, I'll still have most of the big and important parts done. Now, since I have my windows planned out, then I can start adding my details inside my windows. And a lot of times they would have what are called pediments. Pediments are like fancy ornate details around the windows. So maybe like little decorative things that come out from the top of the windows, carved pieces of wood, and then of course there's panes of glass inside the windows that are separated. And when I'm working on mine, I can take a look at the Victorian houses that we looked at and take details from there, or of course I can come up with my own. And then once I'm finished, I still have a lot of work to do, but once I'm finished with my house, then I can move on to other spots of my drawing. So like in my cypress tree, since I made mine kind of wavy, I might add some lines to show, kind of like those short little brushstroke lines that Van Gogh was using. Just some lines to show this is my tree and it's kind of moving around, so I'm showing how the branches and the little leaves on it are moving around. And then in my sidewalk, I might add some little details like little cobblestones to show that this is like a little cobblestone walkway. And one thing that's nice that I can do is that I don't have to add all the little cobblestones all the way through it, but if I just put a few here and there, it gives the idea that this is a whole cobblestone walkway, but even though it's not filled up completely. And just like when I painted it last week, up here close to my house, my path is very small, so my stones are very small up here. Down here close to me, my path is much bigger, so my stones get a little bit bigger as well. And I'm going to work and continue adding as many details as I can through my piece of artwork. All right, now I have my finished drawing. So you can see that I've filled my house. I've got all my windows. Sort of added a little bit more contrast around my windows, help make them stand out just by filling them in with white. And then I added shingling all over here. I could still add some more shingling up here. And then all of my roofs, my porch roof, top of my tower, they all have shingles on them as well. And then I finished up my details in the tree. So today we're just working on adding those final details. Remember that these final details, we talked about this last time when we were painting, these final little details, they make a big difference. So I might have done a beautiful job in the sky, done a really nice job painting the outline of my house, the silhouette of my tree, but then if I rush through the details and don't take my time, it takes away from all that hard work that I've been doing so far. So take your time and work on adding your details to your Victorian house and any other spots on your drawing that needs a little bit more work today.